Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Richard Stewart again with 615 Real Estate Advisors in White House, Tennessee. And I am with my good friend Austin Schroeder.
Hello.
Austin, I want you to tell me about your business. And Austin is an inspector. So I'm just going to give him the floor and let him tell you about his business.
Yeah, so the name of the business is Hound Home Inspection. We do residential home inspections. We also do some add-on services, including radon testing, environmental testing, sewer scoping, and thermal imaging.
Oh, wow. Tell me about that thermal imaging.
So thermal imaging, I have a camera where I recommend this in any of your wet areas, kitchens, bathrooms. I can take this camera, actually, shut all the lights off in a home, look at walls, and wherever there happens to be a, kind of blue spot come up, that can mean that you've got a leak behind the wall that you don't know about. So it's a cooler area than the rest of the surrounding wall.
Right.
And that can tell you that.
Not many people think about that, do they?
Yep.
There might be a leak behind the wall.
Yep. And so as soon as you see something like that, first thing I'll do is pop down into the crawl space and see if I can find evidence of a leak underneath that area.
Okay. And just take me through the kind of typical inspection. Like when you get there, what do you start with usually?
Yeah, so my process is I start top to bottom, outside in. So I'll start by climbing on your roof. I like actually walking the roofs. Some inspectors do, some inspectors don't. As long as there's not ice or raining or something, I'll actually get up there. From there we'll go all around the outside of the home, check on siding, exterior, all of your porches, steps, decks, balconies. After that, I pop down into the crawl space, see what we've got going on down there.
Okay.
Yep, and I'll go every inch of the crawl space, and then kind of same thing on the inside. Start in the attic and work my way down.
Is that normal? Not normal. Is that what's the word I'm looking for? Is that do most inspecters do crawl spaces, or is that something some of them don't do?
Most of them should. Now I do. There is in the standard that says if you don't feel comfortable or you don't feel safe getting in a crawl space, that you don't go. But a lot of inspectors will use that as a cop out to not go. I've done up 27 inspections now, and I've never found a spot where I felt unsafe crawling in a crawl space.
Okay.
But have I felt dirty and nasty crawling in a crawl space? Oh yeah, for sure. But
That's to be expected.
Yep.
God, do you what about roof? You get on the roof. You get all around. Not you don't just pop your head and look. You actually get on the roof.
Yep. Now, unless I've done inspections while it's raining. And I'll at that point just set my ladder up at different points around the house and check things out. But yeah, if the conditions allow it, I'll get on the roof.
Well, now we had a builder, and I'm going to be diplomatic and not mention their name. But it was kind of a defect in all the builds in my neighborhood, where the vent that came, the top bathroom, the vent up there, they didn't seal it.
Yep.
And is that something that you find a lot? Or?
Yeah. So a lot of times they call them boots that go around your plumbing stack deck coming out the top. A lot of times maybe the shingles aren't set up on them correctly, and you'll have leaks into your attic, and that'll rot your sheathing away over time.
Okay. Tell me when is a good time, or good times to do an inspection.
Every day, every time. I say so. I do them for buyers and sellers.
Okay. Like at what time? Okay, let's just say for somebody's looking for a home. At what point in the process of home buying do you do the inspection, or would a good idea?
So usually, a person's been pre-approved. They've been working with their realtor. They find a house they really like, and so maybe they're ready to put an offer in, but that offer is contingent on inspections. Okay. That's when I'll come in, check things out. I do recommend, if you're selling a house, to also have an inspection done before you put the house on the market, because I can find issues that, maybe if I tell them to you up front, you can go ahead and fix those, And now, when you're selling your house, instead of me coming in on the buyer's behalf and finding these issues, and they use it to negotiate the price down, now you can fix things ahead of time, be ahead of the 8 ball.
Do you find that, like, let's just say that you're somebody's trying to sell their home, and they use you to do an inspection? Do you find you got a dog playing around? We got a little rubber bone, and we're trying to under the table play with the dog at the same time. But we'll get it done. We got here. See, he's cute. He's so cute. But that's okay. We're not gonna let Bob. Do you find that let's say somebody's trying to sell their home, and they usually do an inspection, and you find it less likely that the buyer is going to use another person to do an inspection? Would they usually would they usually give them documentation? Does that usually suffice?
Yeah. So, I've never had it the case where I will give an inspection report and they say, okay, we're going to go
use our own.
Yeah, we're going to go get somebody else. And it's interesting. You can give an inspection report, and as soon as, so let's say you're buying a home and you have me come in and do an inspection. If you release a copy of that report to the seller and the seller's agent, they now have to disclose everything that's on that report to the next person. So, and they can have, multiple buyers can come in. If, first offer falls through, they use another inspector for theirs. They can do that, but if the first report that I did on
why would they want to spend the money?
Exactly.
Okay.
But that's purely on that's their
prerogative.
And it's purely on the first buyer if they want to give that report to the seller's agent, because they're my client. They're the ones who paid me for the report. But if they decide to release it to the seller, they've got that power.
Good to know. Good to know. I know home warranties. Like, I know I'm not trying to speak for him, but I know that we had a situation where our home warranty was getting ready to expire, and we thought about using an inspector to look around before our inspection. And let me tell you, we had a whole laundry list of stuff that we found that they had to fix, right? Mm-hmm. And that's, am I taking the words out of your mouth? Is that a good thing to do?
That's great. Like I say all the time, inspections aren't just for homes that were built in the 70s or the 60s or whatever. Get those inspections done on new builds, especially if they've got a home warranty. That is the time to have an inspector come in, check things out, and while somebody will fix them on their dime instead of your dime.
Again, these interviews I do sometimes they're not scripted, they're not prepared. So I think about things while he's talking. What are some things that you find that let's just say somebody doesn't? What are some things that either the buyer or seller, if they come to ask you for inspection, things that they don't think about or they miss that you catch?
Great example was one I did on Monday. So, had an inspection. This home had been fully renovated, and it was beautiful. Okay. They did a great job renovating the inside, but it was sort of a lipstick on a pig situation.
Really?
They made it look great curb appeal. When you walked in the house, it had that wow factor. The interior finishes were awesome. But crawled in the crawl space. It was 27 degrees outside. The first thing I noticed, man, it is hot in this crawl space. There were 2 ducts that had not been hooked up to registers in the home that were just dumping hot air into the crawl space.
Really?
That same house, there was, multiple instances of open electric circuits, hot neutrals and grounds just sitting on insulation.
Wow.
In the attic.
It could have burned up and caused a fire.
Yep.
There you go.
So just because it looks good doesn't mean it is good.
Yeah, I'm telling you, these. Well, tell me. I'm gonna pick on you a little bit. Tell me a little bit about, if you don't mind, your background as far as how you got into this, your experience, and all that.
Yeah. So I never thought I'd be a home inspector. I graduated from college with a supply chain degree, hold several supply chain certifications. Worked for one of the largest wineries in the world for 5 years in supply chain.
Okay.
Yep. Out of California, and lived out there for 2 years. Was working remote, decided to move to Nashville, and got a call in March. Hey, move back to California or get a new job.
Or get a new job, and you didn't want to move back to California.
I didn't want to move back to California.
You like the weather.
Yeah.
And the people
weather,
too, right?
The weather,
right?
yeah. And so, I had purchased the home that we're in right now last November. Didn't have the best experience with our realtor and our home inspector. There was, we moved into the house and started finding a lot of things kind of after.
Right.
And
same with me.
Yep.
Because you didn't know the area.
Exactly. Well, and first time home buyer, I didn't know I had the
ability
to really do a deep dive.
Okay. My point, I'm not saying that's my whole theme. Same with me. I'm 54. This is my first time building a home, and wife and I. And there were questions that we didn't know to ask. We didn't know the neighborhood. We didn't know the thing, and we just went by the name. We thought it was a good. I'm trying to be diplomatic and not mention the name of our builder, but we thought that it was good, but it wasn't. And it's good to know how you're going to know. These and new people, especially when they're new, they don't know the questions to ask. They don't know they need a home inspection. They need home insurance. They need they don't know how to title process. They don't know any of that.
Yeah.
And I think that there's maybe so many homes bought and sold every day, and people that are in the industry work it every day that maybe they get. I don't want to use the word lax, but they kind of leave kind of the new people. They forget where they come from. They forget there's new people that they've never had any experience with this at all, right?
Yep.
And that.
Yep. It's just like anything, and so my parents were flippers.
Okay.
So they buy a house foreclosed, fix it up, sell it. Okay. So I had been, used as kind of free labor in those situations. Saw a lot of the ins and outs of renovating homes and worked installing fire suppression systems for a few years.
Okay.
And so I had some pretty good construction background.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And I looked into, what it would be to become a home inspector.
So you kind of knew what to look for.
Yep.
All right.
And so after that, having the bad experience, I thought I can do this better. I can do it, more honest. And took my classes, passed my national exam, got licensed with the state, got insured, and got after it.
Awesome. Good deal.
Yep. So, and my whole thing is I want to help people. Right.
Well, I feel that, and I feel that you will, and you have, and you do the right thing by people, and that's what we need in this industry.
Yep.
And in this market.
Yep.
A lot of people have been. I always say that there's a few types of people. There's people out there they know that you don't know, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or they think that you know. And you're afraid to ask questions, and they go, okay, next, let's go to the next page. And then you're afraid. Don't be afraid. When you say that, don't be afraid to ask the questions.
Yeah.
You'll sleep better at night. And if there's a contract involved, take your time. Say, listen, I'm gonna go for about an hour and go to lunch real quick and look over this contract. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. You should.
Is there anything, it's your time here. If there's anything that you want to share. Anything in your mind? Okay.
Yeah, so, aside from, I'll just plug what makes me different, I guess, why you should use me as your inspector.
There you go.
So aside from the add-on services, radon, environmental testing, sewer scoping, thermal imaging, which not a ton of inspectors do, any of those, I like to say that I'm client-friendly, but, client-focused, realtor-friendly. Okay. So I know that at the end of the day, what I put on a report can blow up a sale for you. And I know that that's taking money out of your pocket. So I always like to remind my clients, at the end of the day, there's no such thing as a perfect home.
Right.
There's going to be defects in every home. It's more about, do you love the location and do you love the home?
Right.
You need to feel confident in purchasing your home.
Right.
So in order to, kind of facilitate that, I've got easy to read reports. It's a checklist style. And I don't focus on what I call the sea of green. So from my management days,
okay.
When a manager would be reporting on KPIs, key performance indicators, a lot of them would hide the bad stuff behind what I call the sea of green. right?
Okay.
Here's all this stuff we're doing right, and we're so awesome. But they try to hide the bad stuff.
Right.
And to me, if you don't focus on the bad stuff, you're not improving. And same thing as going through a home, if you're not focusing on the defects, I can't help my client negotiate the price of the home down. I
Sure.
can't help them truly understand what they're getting into in
Right.
their home.
Right.
So I like to make sure that my reports aren't just, this is great, this is great, this is great, this is great. I'll put yep, that's satisfactory. Won't say another word about it. Let's move on.
Okay.
And also, that keeps my reports from being 90 pages long. And
Right.
nobody wants to read through
Right.
90 pages.
Right.
I also provide an upfront list of defects in the home along with the report.
Okay.
So you get your full report, and it'll be, on average 40 to 50 pages. But then you also get just a defect checklist.
Okay.
That is everything right up front. Makes it easy to, take a look at it.
Okay.
And go from there. And then something that sets me apart, my prices are already the lowest in the area, but I give discounts to first-time home buyers, military, both active and retired,
Okay.
first responders, doctors, nurses, chiropractors. My wife's a chiropractor, so.
I'm a nurse.
Yeah.
Well,
And,
I am. I'm still working as a nurse. So.
Yep. And also teachers.
Okay.
Teachers and admin. So
Okay.
basically, if you give back to the community, I want to give back to you.
Awesome.
And my discounts stack. So it's either $50 for everybody just mentioned or 10%. So whichever's more. So if you've got an inspection on a large house and it's a $600 inspection, or you add on some of the other services, radon testing, whatever, and your full inspection ends up being $700, I'll give you $70 off.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your. I hope. I don't want to. I'll probably. I don't know. This is kind of a new thing I'm doing. I may circle back later.
Please do.
Talk to him again. But thank you.
Yeah,
For
thank
talking
you. Of
and
course.
and giving the people information.
Of course. Come
And
see me.
I'm gonna put his information, his phone number, his web address, email, all that information on the post. And call if you have any questions. Feel free. He's a member of the White House Chamber of Commerce. I've talked to him a few times. He's a good fellow, and he lives in this close to the area. White House, Hendersonville, close, which is kind of the all these areas are north of Nashville, which is where I'm trying to grow my business.
Yep.
But you're licensed in anywhere in Tennessee, correct?
Yes, sir.
So it doesn't have to just be in this area. But give him a call. And
Give Richard a call for your home.
All right, man. Good deal.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon, man.
All right, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
All right.